welcome back, everybody. And we're really, really excited to have our guest this morning, Lehua Wise. And she is the director of golf of the Kohanaiki Club in Hawaii. It's an ultra-luxury private club on the Big Island of Hawaii. And she's a native from Hawaii and an alumni of New Mexico State University, where she was a Sun Belt Conference individual champion. She enjoyed a successful professional playing career on the LPGA Futures Tour, which is now, of course, the Epson Tour. And she is a powerhouse in the PGA sections, having won the Southern California PGA Women's Section Championship 4 times. And after nearly a decade leading the golf operations at the prestigious Hideaway Golf Club in California, she returned home to Hawaii to bring her unique blend of competitive excellence and Ikegai philosophy to one of the premier golf destinations in the world. I hope I got that right. But Lehua, welcome to the Women of Golf Show.
Hey, good morning. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
We're so glad you're here. God bless you for getting up in the middle of the night.
Let me just, for the listeners and the viewers out there, let me just put this in perspective. It is, I believe you said, around 3:30 your local time in Hawaii. That's in the morning. That's not afternoon. So she is getting up literally at the crack of dawn to be with all of you guys. So I hope you enjoy this. So I want to start off, I think, Cindy, if you don't let me mind for just a second, I want to start off and talk about the fact that you won the SCPGA Women's Section Championship 4 times. I mean, that's some serious play. Tell us a little bit about that, because you're a player. You're not just, I mean, you're director of golf now, you're teaching, you're sort of giving back to the game in that way, but you were a tour player. So you're out there, you're grinding it. And for a lot of folks that don't understand just what it takes to be a tour player, Cindy obviously is a tour player as well and has been for a number of years. How did you put that together to win that championship 4 times? I mean, that's a pretty a Herculean task to be able to win that 4 times. Give us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I would say that the Southern Cal section was, it's probably one of the biggest, one of the most competitive in the country. So I was fortunate to be a part of that with my background in playing and just always being competitive growing up. And then with still wanting to be competitive in the field, but I just didn't want to do the rest of the things, right? I looked forward to it every year, prepared for it. Most of the time you could drive to it an hour or 2 from the venue. So it was kind of nice. It was kind of like a local venue every year. And I just loved it. My goal every year was to win.
And you did 4 times. Now, I'm just out of curiosity, and then Cindy, I'm going to pass it over to you because you can do some tour talk with her if you want. How many times did you enter that event?
Like I would say at least 8.
Wow.
Yeah. So probably, I would say 10.
So that's almost 50% of the time you close the deal. That's incredible.
Pretty good.
I asked you that for a specific reason, because, if you've been in it 20 times, and that's still not to take away from the accomplishment, but, that might sound a little more realistic, but to win it almost half the number of times that you entered the event, that's pretty remarkable. What do you think, Cindy?
Totally. Now, were you living on the mainland and playing on the Futures Tour?
No,
or were you working
after my playing career was done? Yeah. So I
you were working at a club.
Yes.
Yep.
And then you just came back and kind of boom.
Yeah, it was kind of like the premier event of being a PGA professional for the female side every year. So yeah.
So when you grew up, you played in Hawaii in junior events and stuff?
I did, yeah. I grew up on the island of Kauai. The Hawaii State Junior Golf Association it's still very active, very strong. Actually led by the same person, Mary B. Porter. It was just, it was a good upbringing. It was competitive. Every summer we traveled to Junior World, to all of the AGA championships. It was kind of a big thing where you traveled every summer. You had to make at least over to the pond, over to the mainland just to go to qualifiers.
How good? So Mary B. Porter has stayed at our house. We're pretty good buddies.
Yeah.
and she, we played on tour together a million years ago. And it's, yeah. So how cool was it to have her helping the junior?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it's still, you can't even measure the amount that it's been valuable with my playing career, industry wise, just mentorship growing up when it didn't even know it back then. She's still very active here, right? So now I get to see her in a different light, and she just always tells me, "You're so grown up. You're so older now."
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So what's the best part of your new position?
Oh, I would say the office and just the culture of where I'm at. Um, I think I finally feel respected in my role.
Ooh,
I'm comfortable in my role, and also it's just it's kind of a different level of luxury, but also you add the Hawaii aspect of it being kind of relaxed. Our members play barefoot. We encourage that. It's just another level of golf that I've really enjoyed being a part of. I think it takes you know, a special comfortable setting for women especially to get, okay, I'll try it here. They might be members elsewhere on the mainland where it's a little bit more traditional. They don't feel as comfortable. They get here and this is also their home and they feel a little bit more comfortable.
I like the fact that you've said, I feel respected. Do you feel, because you've now come home, do you feel as though you had to go prove yourself?
Absolutely. And not probably the biggest critic is myself.
Well, and
um,
again, I've done the same thing. So I came home,
yeah.
again, I think it's funny because you're probably, you feel least respected at home. That may
Yes.
not be the case, but I think
Yep.
we probably are our worst critic.
Yeah. And I think, when I was in Southern California, it was a great experience. I think I felt respected. I earned my way playing wise, industry wise, being the leader of an operation. And I just think here it's just a little bit different. Um, I think people probably enjoy that I do have a Hawaiian background. The culture is there, um,
Love that.
very much a part of it. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah,
That's great. Ted, you got to tell Mary B I said hi.
I
And
will.
Alan, my
See you
husband.
later, yep.
Yeah.
That's right. So I gotta, and I'm gonna ask this because I practiced it for 20 minutes this morning, and I'm hoping I'm not gonna mess it up. So tell us your Ikegai philosophy, which is a Japanese word that I've come to learn. Initially, it may be translated Hawaiian or what have you. But so you've often spoke about finding your Ikegai or purpose through golf. How did you come about finding that? You've kind of led into it, I think, a little bit, and to go out and be able to prove yourself. But now, how do you sort of take that and instill that sense of your cultural authenticity and passion, and translate to your staff and your overall member experience at the club? So talk about how it's helped you personally, and then now how you're sort of helping others to find their Ikigai.
Yeah. I would say that I didn't fall into it, but when when I was a head golf professional at the Hideaway, I had the opportunity to visit Kohanaiki with some members that are also members here. So a little bit of crossover. I never knew something like the level of environment, community, luxury golf community existed in Hawaii. That wasn't how I grew up on Kauai. Um, well, it's not to say anything less. I loved growing up at my municipal golf course. Um, but when I first got to visit, I was on a girls' trip with some members, and I was blown away. It was just this fun, tropical paradise kind of environment where not only did the ladies that I was with enjoy it, I saw other ladies playing golf, and um, more of a family setting as well. So I think it was like I had everything: the cultural background, the luxury community, private golf community background, being with Discovery for almost 10 years. It just kind of all felt together and blended.
Hmm.
And so I was like, oh, wow, this is a kind of like my dream place.
So you've managed to really come full circle, and you've done something unique, because Cindy, and I know that there's others in her category who have been tour players but also teach. Not all tour players evolve into the teaching side. Not all teachers, play out on tour. So it's a very, I think, and I could be wrong, maybe it's different on the LPGA, a very limited number of people that do both. Cindy, is that pretty accurate from your understanding?
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's either or. I'm not saying that some haven't maybe dipped their toe in the teaching sand, maybe once in a while, but for the most part, you're either a teacher or you're a player. Very few are able to make that transition. Cindy and obviously her husband Alan, who was a PGA life member and has played on Masters and so forth. Which, by the way, I see your Augusta National little thing on your shirt. But was that something that you naturally fell into and wanted to do from the get-go? I mean, you obviously played professional golf. Was that something that you were thinking about down the road, that when my pro tour, career sort of comes to a wind, or I decide I don't want to do this, did you already have that in mind as something you wanted to do, or you just decided I'm going to throw my, caution to the wind and give it a try?
I would say, I chose New Mexico State because of their PGA program. So I killed two birds, one stone. When I graduated, I got my PGA Class A. And so I kind of had a backup plan prior to thinking about where I wanted to play college golf, and kind of putting all the scenarios together. I thought it'd be a great opportunity if the playing on shore didn't work out. One of my mom's best friends growing up was one of the first female Hawaii head golf professionals, my Auntie Kelly. And she still is very active in the golf community in Kauai. So probably a pretty good mentorship. And without me even knowing it and recognizing it then, I was like, it's a great opportunity just to stay within the game. So I would say, without me even planning it, knowing it, when my professional career was done, which I gave myself 3 years from the time I started, if I didn't have any kind of status on the big tour, then I was going to call it a day.
Why golf? What was it about golf? I mean, obviously you said your Aunt Kelly was an influence in that. Was she one of the primary factors that introduced you to the game? Did that come about later? Because it's a tough industry, not just from the teaching side, but from the playing side. It's not like a lot of other sports that you have a team to rely on. It's just you. And so what was it about the game that really appealed to you? When did you first get drawn to the game, and who introduced you?
My stepdad introduced me when he was actually teaching my mom the game when I was 11. I played other sports growing up. I was a big soccer player, and a little bit of basketball and beach volleyball. But as soon as I went to the range and kind of spent a couple days there and got into junior golf, just on a whim, the junior golf coaches that we had available to us right when I first started were amazing, and they were life-changing.
Now, was your stepdad a pro?
No, he's a police officer,
Okay.
retired now. He was probably a 2 handicap, and it worked out to normally I would not advise the spouse or the parent teaching.
That's where I was going with that. I was thinking to myself, it's a good thing he had a law enforcement background, because he might have needed it if he went down the wrong path. That's why I asked. I was thinking, okay, if he's a teacher pro, okay, maybe, but if he's not, boy, he's putting it at risk there, I'll tell you.
No, we spent afternoons at the range, and I got to play with them on the weekends, and my mom kind of had her own group, which was funny. I ended up playing with all the police officers growing up. We would go out the crack of dawn.
Oh yeah. So you're used to get up early. So I don't feel so bad that you get up at 3:30 to be with us this morning. Last question, then I'm going to bounce it back to Cindy. When did you know, at one point did you know this is what I want to do? And I'm not talking about so much the teaching side of it, because that, obviously came out a little bit later, but you obviously got bitten by the golf bug, which many of us do. And you really enjoyed the game. You obviously were athletic because you played other sports, beach volleyball, basketball, and soccer and so forth. So you had an athletic background. But at what point did that switch go off for you, where you said, okay, you know what? I really want to give this a try, because you're going to go on a million other sports, because when you're athletic, you can pretty much play anything. But you obviously had an interest in this game, and you decided, I'm going to try, my darndest to get out there and see what I can do out on tour. When was that moment for you?
God, I would say in the first couple of years of playing golf, it was so challenging to myself. And, you guys know it, the game of golf is,
Oh, yeah.
it's hard. I looked at it as a good challenge, and I just got obsessed with it.
Yeah. I think you have to be obsessed to play it on tour, because it ain't easy, right, Cindy?
No, it's not. We all know that.
Right. Go ahead. Cindy, you go ahead. I know you've got some questions.
How many members do you have?
We have just under 300 memberships.
It's a good
That's
number.
great. And how many women?
I would say half of that, right? And when I say
wow.
memberships, it's a vertical membership. So, it could be 300 women.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. And what is Discovery? You made a comment about Discovery.
Discovery Land is probably one of the biggest golf community land developers. So they have quite a few properties in the world now, like I think over 40.
Oh, wow.
And they're kind of like the I would say the benchmark for private golf communities.
Got it. So did they own the facility you were at in California as well?
Yeah, they owned, they managed it and owned it for a while, and then eventually member turnover happens. And then I also spent, a couple summers at the Yellowstone Club, which was the same developer.
Got it. So what do you do for fun?
Me? I work out. Yeah. Now, my fun has changed since I've moved back home. Very much ocean involved activities, which I love.
You surf?
Surf, swim a lot, snorkel a lot. Whenever we get a chance to go on the boat and get out in the deep waters, we do that.
That's great.
Yeah, it's been fun reconnecting with all of the ocean activities.
That's awesome. What's the best part of the job?
Ooh, I would say the best part has been, there's so many. I still get excited to go to work every day.
Yeah, that's good.
Why?
Yeah.
I would say that it's such a challenge to me. I still have so much work to do. I feel like between the sharing and making the member experience the best that it can be every day, creating it a consistent experience. Just kind of upholding the standards that we have, teaching my team how important it is for, every single interaction. I've hired younger locals that never were into golf, and that's the pool that we have, and now they love it. So kind of seeing that, how they all have the golf bug now. It's fun.
That's great. Ted?
So let me ask you, talk about the club itself. What's unique? I mean, obviously it's a very exclusive club. It's, it's world class, and it's actually a Reese Jones design. So for those that are familiar with his abilities, know that it's going to be a world class facility. So tell us a little bit about the club, what you really like about it, the challenges of playing out in the golf course, because as a tour player, obviously you look for visual cues as to how to, where you're going to go, for how you're going to best attack the hole. So if somebody was playing that for the first time, obviously it's a members club, but just out of curiosity, if somebody was invited as a guest, let's say, and they were playing it, what would you want them to know about it, and how they should attack that golf course to shoot their best game?
Yeah. So the front nine runs, within pretty much the community, a little bit more mountain scenic. And I would say the back nine, you have 6 holes on the water. So a little bit more wind exposed. You have a little 4 holes where you have to carry a good amount of lava, which makes it fun. Ball placement. And just my favorite hole, number 14, you have to hit a shot where it's about 200 yards and you have 60 yards of carry of lava.
Wow.
It's just spectacular. The beach is right there and you can see all the surfers. Um, it's just a fun golf course. I could play it every single day.
What do you like about working with a lot of the members? Because obviously you're giving lessons, you're giving advice, you're helping them to navigate their best, game. What do you like about working with a lot of the members there? What is it about the membership that you enjoy the most?
Yeah, I would say, they all belong to other clubs on the mainland. When they come here, there's just an extra level of relaxation that you can see on their face the moment that they land and get on property. They know that they can go paddling in the morning, they can play golf, midday, go back in the water in the afternoon. There's a lot of outdoor activities and it's very active for me. So it's great. It's not stagnant, I would say.
Something different
Yeah.
always happening in that.
Yep.
What, as far as your teaching, do you have a particular philosophy, if you will, that you try to adhere to? I mean, everybody has their own teaching style, and obviously there's certain things in the parameter of the teaching game that we all impact is impact, and that sort of thing. But do you approach it from a different standpoint that maybe some of your fellow coaches do, or teacher professionals do? Particularly because you were a tour player, so you see things maybe that some that never played on tour. In other words, you have a different appreciation for teaching the game now, based on your background.
Yeah, I would say, 85% of my lessons, I would say, relate to setup before they even hit the golf ball.
Right.
They worry about why is the ball flight doing this? Why is my divot doing that? I also take in respect of the individual in itself and how much work they're going to actually put into practicing and making a change. I tell them off the bat, I'm like, this could be a Band-Aid fix, or how much time are you willing to invest? Are you going to spend some time to practice? That will kind of determine my diagnosis per se.
Right.
Yeah.
Do you find that most of the people that you're working with, because it is, I mean, you're in the Big Island, it's very relaxed, very laid back compared to maybe, another part of the United States where it's in a bigger city, the hustle and bustle. Being more laid back, do you find that the students are more, or less willing to put as much time, because there's so many other things, so many other distractions, like I said, surfing, whatever. So I guess what I'm asking for is, do you think they're just as diligent about working on their game as maybe in another area of the country that doesn't have the beautiful aesthetics that you have in Hawaii?
Yeah, I would say that's true for the ladies that we have, the females. They're a lot more comfortable here. Our women's program has grown significantly, which I'm very, very, very proud of.
Mm-hmm.
I have another first assistant who's female, and that I would say that in itself already helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's good. And that's not to say that they don't want to work on their game, but I mean, when you have an environment where there's just so many other options and opportunities, unless they have a tour, vision, as you did, they're going to maybe have so many other activities that they can do. What is the most challenging part of what you do? What do you find? And I don't mean that you don't find interesting, but that gives you the biggest challenge of what you do each day.
I would say right now we're in growing mode, and the word growing pains is it's a natural thing that's happening for us. Is we're growing, we're in sales mode. We're busy, we're a very active membership. We're probably going to do just under 24,000 rounds for a club that's very winter oriented.
Yeah.
So I would say just kind of maintaining the same member experience with everyone and everything growing is important to me.
Yeah, I think that's good. I think always having a forward vision like that, I think that's great. Let me ask you one last thing, and then Cindy, if you've got any final thoughts or questions that you want to ask her. Obviously, in the news, there's been a lot of rain in areas of Hawaii. How have you guys been impacted personally where you are? Are you seeing a lot of it, or are you kind of out of the main areas that have been affected? Have you guys had a lot in your particular region? And if so, has it affected you guys in any way? Just give us a scoop.
So last weekend when the Kona low started, we had within the 4 days, we had just over 10 inches of rain. That's almost our annual rainfall.
Wow.
Yeah. So we were closed for 4 days. The winds were very significant, up to 75 miles per hour at the club. We have some clubhouse damage. Luckily, we didn't lose we don't have a lot of big trees on property or on the golf course. We had a couple palm trees. And then within the landscaping, there was some damage. Luckily, there was some flooding within the neighborhoods that my team lives in. So we're still kind of working through that. Yesterday, we had a pretty good thunderstorm that rolled through, which was unexpected. We were able to open the golf course within 2 hours of that passing through the morning, but it was just kind of like, you never know in Hawaii. They say it's like 50% chance rain. It could be 50%, yes or no.
Right.
We didn't get hit as hard as Oahu or Maui.
Right.
But I know clubs down south from us, they had significant damage and they're not going to be open for months.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Well, and that's why I asked that, because I knew that in fact, I was thinking to myself last night, as a result, because I've been kind of keeping up with the news on that. And I was wondering if you were going to have any issues joining us this morning, if there was going to be, outages or things like that may have happened as a result, because I knew it was pretty bad. So I wasn't exactly sure where you were in the grand scheme of, the islands and things like that. But I'm glad that obviously, that it wasn't as severe for you guys. And we're certainly going to pray for those that maybe have, more challenges that things get back to normal. But like you said, you got the winds blowing, every direction in Hawaii. So one day it could be, 50%, another day it could be 100%. So it's part of island life. But I think that's good that you guys are able to get through it. Okay. Cindy, any final questions or thoughts that you have for her?
You said you're a winter club. What's your busiest months?
December, January, February.
And then do you get time off in the summer?
It's sparingly. We're a year-round club operationally wise. So it's kind of nice. It's just we have some blackout dates, right? That all of us, it's all hands on deck. New Year's Eve is a big party for us, and a lot of our membership is here. We have a good 2-week celebration where we call festive here, that we almost have an activity day and night for 2 weeks straight. And it's a fun time to be on property for the membership.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you for joining us. This is
of course.
Super.
Yeah, we appreciate you getting up bright and early, but seeing that you're an athlete, we don't really feel all that bad because you need to get up early and keep yourself in shape and going and that. But no, we really appreciate, all kidding aside, and we're grateful for you spending time. And we'd love to have you come back and talk some more golf, but we know you got to get your day started. But what an incredible look at the bridge between competition and leadership, from our deep dive in the no BS zone to the refined excellence. Lehua Wise is providing Kohanaiki. It's clear that the women of golf are defining the standards of success in every level of the industry. That wraps up episode 3 of season 13. A huge thank you to our guest again for sharing her expertise with us today. Be sure to check out the video version of this episode in the iGolf Sports YouTube channel. We will be back next Tuesday at 9 a.m. Eastern with more stories, more debates, and more of the game we love. Until then, find your purpose, enjoy the journey, and keep it in the short grass. We'll see you next week.